Hello, in this session, we're going to be talking about reporting again. I told you when we were covering reporting that I would dive down into the different reporting features that Sparx has available. I'm not going to cover all of these today. I'm going to create a series, but this extra content, this extra session, if you will, is going to be on custom document elements. We're going to use our team project that we did earlier this year on activity diagrams and requirements development. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but in this, we had a navigation cell for analytics and reporting, if you recall. And analytics and reporting, we introduced the notion of dashboards. We introduced the notion of these reporting elements that allowed us to actually create reports specifically on certain packages that we could very quickly create a report, generate documentation. If I go ahead and select this, I can generate documentation. I'm not going to do that. We've already done that. You can view it, and it basically only reports on the packages that we specified. In this session, we're going to create a separate package called simply called reporting. And we're going to bring a navigation cell in here. And I'm just going to hit escape and drop it in. I'm not going to put any cute graphics on it or anything like that, but it's blank. There is nothing in it. Let's go ahead and double click and launch into this blank work area. Now, what we used to generate this diagram and create this documentation toolbox was literally, if I go and create another diagram in here and you scroll down, you'll see document templates, document template diagram. If I do that, it creates a diagram with this tooling that's available for us. Let's go ahead and close this diagram here. We're in our blank reporting diagram that has this tooling available. Now, again, I'm going to do a series that covers each one of these elements in more detail, but our focus is on custom document element right here. I'm going to drag and drop this into our workspace. I'm going to put it right here for us and widen a little bit, and I can give it any name that I want. So this report is going to be on this area of access failed activities. And what we're going to do is just double click into that. Go ahead and launch it. We can right click, find in browser, and we can just hit F2 to copy this namespace, if you will, name. And we're going to come in here. We're going to hit F2 again, and then Control V to paste. Right? And again, you can say access failed focus, access failed review, whatever you wanted to name this. Let's go ahead and double click and open up this diagram. Now, as soon as you, as soon as you launch that element, you're challenged with this dialog box for a new custom from template. And then the templates that you can choose from are custom templates that you and your team have created or any of these system templates, okay? We're just going to choose none in this case, and we're going to hit OK. So we have a blank report here. There's nothing in it. And you see this dialog box that contains the content that we're going to bring into this report once we're ready. Now, our focus in this report is in the access failed activities. And this is a composite underneath this. So I'm going to double click and launch it. And what we want to do is we want to talk about these activities that are taking place here. So I can right click in here again, find in browser, and I want to talk about login failed. And if I hit Alt G, it'll zoom right in on it. But I also want to talk about the rules, and I want to talk about this other activity. I'm not going to talk about the start or the final in this, but just these three activities, all right? So I'm going to go back over to our dynamic report, and the first one is going to be login failed. And I'm just going to drag this in to this model, and I can choose, well, what template do I want to use to discuss this. And I have all of these, the dark red markers here represent system. You can't edit those. And then the green represent ones that we've created. We're going to choose this narration. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And it brings it in. And what you see here is it brought in the content and knowledge under this particular element. So if I go to that element, login failed, double click it, it brought in any intelligence that we had from this particular element that we wanted to talk about in this particular report, right? And I can do the same for send message, just drag and drop it in here. I'm going to use narration again, and I'm going to do the same thing for login rules. And so what it's doing is it's bringing in, using the narration, which is simply the name and any content that we may have underneath that, it's bringing it into this report. So we're going to go back to the model, and this was blank. There wasn't any intelligence underneath it. And the team can come in and type a description, more intelligence around a particular element, whatever the type of element that is, and they can submit it to the database for the team. And the team could be collaborating around this, and everyone's contributing to this. But I come back over to the report, and I don't see the knowledge that we just put in here. Over in the left side, you see the elements that we brought in, and I can make this a little wider if necessary. And you can see that as I select these, they zero in on the report. We're focused on the locking rules relative to this. I can right click on this and I can update dynamic section, and it will bring in whatever content that the team contributed to an element at any given point. Now you can continue to customize this report. You're doing this on the fly. You can add in all sorts of intelligence. This just happens to be content about what a custom document is. You can do things like put in headers and use insert to bring in linked elements. Let's just bring in our logo in here and let's right justify it. You're going to learn all of this in the more detailed sessions. We'll size our logo, and then we could put other company information in here in this particular report. You can even create custom reports that already have the logo, company name, and all of that you would draw from when you're choosing a template. In this case, we chose a template of none. It was completely blank. You're able to apply styling to any of the content that you want here. I'm just selecting everything, and I want to choose Verdana. You could choose anything you wanted, and it now has Verdana in here. I can change my mind, come in here and choose Calibri rather. Capri, is that a font? And it would change that font. I could come in, you can see that this is 11 and this is 10. I could make everything in here 11. We're going to go to 11. And now everything, including the headers, is set to 11 size font. And then do other things such as cleaning up empty spaces and anything that you want there. And you're going to learn this in future sessions, how to do paragraph spacing. Right now it's 0 to 0. You could make this 6 if you wanted after each one of them. And therefore you're able to remove the blanks that are here, and we'll take care of all of that for you. If I wanted my headers to come back to the right styling, in this case, you can see it's using header 3, and I want to change this to header 2. I could certainly do that. Go back up here, pull this down, choose header 2, header 1, whatever I felt was necessary in order to form a template the way that the team wants. And again, after a while, you're going to be creating these where the templates are coming in with the right style guides, and you're going to learn that in future sessions coming forward. So you'll notice over on the left here, we brought in these elements and we can navigate to them very quickly for discussion purposes. And you can see here that the type is element and that the template used for each one of these is narration. We're focused on locking rules or lock rules, and we're going to bring in lock rules again. And this time we're going to go ahead and hit yes. This time we're going to choose the solution approach template, the section out of the template, to form, I want to say, or style our discussion around this element. And again, we're just using all. You could have user, system. You could go through these and look at the different types. We're going to just choose all, right? If we choose user, you're only going to have the green user or custom. We're going to use all. And in this case, we're going to choose solution approach, and I'm going to hit OK. So it forms it, brings it in. Now you can see that for lock rules, we're talking about solution approach, and we're talking about the metadata or information pertaining to lock rules. So we see the source is lock rules, to the destination access failed. If we go here, the source is lock rules to this endpoint here, right? And then you can see that send message screen, lock rules, following, and then whatever documentation or intelligence. You're able to very quickly see that you have some blank descriptions or notes. This may help you in your collaboration to fill these blanks in or discuss just this artifact and the subjects that you're talking about in the particular report. Now we have an asterisk right here, which means it's unsaved. We're going to hit Control S, and now this report is saved. Now you can see over here in content that we have a template using solution to talk about lock rules. Down here, we can select it and we'll go right to that element within your report. This can get pretty long here, and so this really helps you navigate to the elements in which you're discussing in a particular report, in this case, a custom report. Again, over in the navigation cells, what I refer to this, you can sort by templates, by type, by name, ascending or descending as you're going through, all right? So whatever helps the team collaborate on a particular subject area, this is a very fast way to be able to use custom document element to create a custom document that you can use. In previous videos, you learned in dynamic viewpoints, you can create a working set. And a working set, if you drag and drop that in and define it, allows you to very quickly get back to the discussion that's taking place around particular elements within that discussion. And one of those was a custom document, and there could be many in the reporting namespace that allows you to very quickly get back to a conversation. And with that, you have the ability to discuss at any element level. So you can start discussions. If if I right click on this and I go to collaborate, I can launch discussions, and stakeholders in the team can start discussions. They can, if we go to collaborate again, they can do reviews, they can chat, send messages, all the other things that you've learned in previous videos. And finally, you can print this report. I wouldn't do that. I mean, stay digital. You start printing these reports, then you're going to get into a versioning problem. So you're going to want to make sure you add versioning to your template. But you can right click anywhere in here and you can select print. You can print to anything that's necessary for you to deal with it. You can print preview, printer setup. You have all the capabilities here, save as. You can export HTML. You can export in RTF. You can export in PDF and document, however you want to deal with that, all right? So those are those capabilities as well for you if you wish. But I would just create these artifacts within your project repository. You can use model library to link to those from other projects and so on, but those capabilities are available to you as well. All right, I hope this video was helpful for you. You learned quite a bit today, how to apply custom documents and reporting to your projects from start to finish. You can create namespaces only for discussions such as this using custom documents and all the other type documents that we're going to be referring to as we're going through this exercise. And we just touched on custom document type as we were going through this exercise. In future videos, we're going to do a series on this. I'm going to explain the document type again, where you can choose various templates. I'm going to talk about the encrypted documents, where you can put encrypted documents for your team to review where they're password protected, report specification, reading lists, and things like that. The user story template is very interesting, as well as the model document. We'll drill into all of these as we move through the documentation and collaboration series. So I look forward to seeing you when we get there on this very important conversation. And until then, happy modeling.